Myst is a first-person puzzle game, and it was first released way back in the olden days of 1993. I remember hearing about this game back in the day when only the poshest of my friends could afford the Master Race, that is PC, and they absolutely raved about this game at the time. This was even before I used to buy computer magazines, so Myst was like this holy grail of gaming that I only really knew about through word of mouth. And quite honestly, it was something that I couldn't wait to get my chubby, mud-ridden little hands on. Now, many years later, the game is obviously more accessible, and they've done a remastered version, taking the pre-rendered backgrounds of the original and converting them into a 3D land. And I think this is something that we have to bear in mind when we play this remaster. It's not especially long, and some of the puzzles are quite simple, except maybe for a few obtuse puzzles in the original hub world. However, remembering what this game must have felt like at the time when a first-person puzzler was a relatively new genre helps to appreciate what this game was for at the time. The game starts off in a small island which acts as your hub world, and when you unlock a series of puzzles, this then unlocks further lands, which then you explore to unlock further parts of the game. Each additional world that you unlock is self-contained, and the order in which you approach these is entirely up to you. The puzzles themselves often involve you manipulating the landscape, such as raising or lowering the water to allow access to different areas. This is unlike the adventure games that were released at the same time, such as Sam & Max or Day the Tentacle, which involved you collecting items to then use to solve puzzles. Plot-wise, the game revolves around a family who have unlocked the ability to transport themselves to these different worlds and have somehow managed to get themselves locked inside some books. There are a number of different collectibles contained within these worlds, which are pages for the books that the family are trapped inside, and these are needed to get one of the 3 different endings. One thing worth noting is to get the final good ending of the game involves you having to make notes of different torn pieces of paper that are scattered throughout the different worlds. These clues to get the final ending and collectibles, and back in the day it would have probably involved you having to write down these clues on the pretext of knowing that they would be needed later on. Again, remember this game was released back in 1993 before the internet was really a glint in the milkman's eye, so to actually achieve this final ending back in the day would have been quite the impressive feat. As I say, to appreciate Myst, it helps to have an understanding of the time it was released and the impact it had upon the gaming community thereafter. If this game was released today, it probably wouldn't stand out. It's quite short, the puzzles are quite basic, and the only real interaction you have is with the puzzles themselves. In that regard, if you're wanting to experience a modern take on the original game, it is worth playing, but don't expect to be blown away. However, what this game does offer is a glimpse into a game that changed the first-person puzzle game genre, essentially created it from this moment onwards. And as such, it is probably worth a little bit of a dabble just to see what all the fuss was about at the time.